Denied. Let's listen into it live.
Victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had. They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12 citizens. And we had a wonderful jury. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right, or certainly right enough. They acquitted him of the sex trafficking, which he was absolutely innocent of. They acquitted him of the racketeering conspiracy that he was absolutely innocent of, and all of the components to it. The kidnapping, he was innocent of that. The arson, he was innocent of that. The obstructing justice, he was innocent of that. And that is no longer just me saying that. That is the verdict of our jury. So today's a great day. Today is a win. Today is a victory of all victories for Sean Combs and our legal team. And I want to say one thing. There are very few people around whom a legal team could coalesce and become one. And Sean Combs is that person, and we are all blessed to be part of it. And I am now done speaking to you, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Garagos.
All right, I first want to thank my client, Sean Combs, for trusting us, myself and everybody here, this incredible dream team that he put together. Without him, we would not have been able to do this. He is incredible, and I want to thank him. I want to thank the jury for putting such great care into this case. They came early every single day, and I want to thank them, as I said in my opening, standing between all of us and the drastic consequences of the criminal convictions of sex trafficking. And RICO is a jury of our peers, and I thank them. I want to thank the judge, and I want to thank, despite the terrible conditions at the MDC, I want to thank the good people who worked there, who ensured that we had sufficient amount of time to prepare for trial. It is extremely difficult to prepare for a federal case in the conditions at the MDC, and they did everything they could to make that happen. I want to thank them. I also have been saying this since the beginning of this case. Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. I've been saying this for months. We've said it with each lawsuit that came out, and today that was proven true. The media got it wrong about Sean Combs every single day for nearly 2 years. I ask that for every time you guys see a civil lawsuit, criminal complaints or criminal indictments, you actually take a look and analyze these and see whether or not these are actually going to stand up in a court of law, because today they did not. He has not sexually assaulted anybody, certainly hasn't sex trafficked anybody, and the jury found that today. Thank you.
Can you tell us what Mr. Combs
I am now going to pass this over to Mr. Steele.
Good evening. Good evening. I want to thank the ladies and gentlemen to my right and my left. There is not a better group of honest and ethical, hardworking and zealous lawyers, and I especially wish to thank Mark and Tenny for allowing me and everyone else to come together. On behalf of my family, myself, I wish to thank you all for being here and writing truthfully about a man wrongly charged with most of the crimes, and that we all must remember that allegations are nothing. And I'd like to thank Sean for letting me be here. Thank you all. God bless you.
What did your client want to say when he raised his hand?
Thankfully, in our country, we have a right to a jury trial. And thankfully, Mr. Combs took that right. He actually battled for his freedom, for his innocence. He did it. And a lot of times, people are too afraid to do it. And he did it, and we're so happy that he did. We're proud of him. We are completely honored that he put his faith and his trust in us to fight for him. Today is a major win to show what the system can do. We appreciate and we're so thankful to the jury. Thank you to the court. Thank you, New York. It's been a pleasure being here and fighting in your district. Thank you so much. And listen, we appreciate the media. We do. There was a lot of reporting on the accusations. There was a lot of reporting on the indictment. Please report just as vigorously on the acquittal of these counts, please, because that's also the right thing to do. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Good afternoon, good afternoon. So, first of all, I want to thank this wonderful team behind me. I am so happy that they allowed me to join it. I would like to say that I've done a lot of trials, but this is probably the most special one to me. And most importantly, I want everyone to know the job is not done yet. We're not finished. The job is not done yet. And so I want to, again, thank Mark, Tenny, and the rest of these wonderful lawyers behind us. They did a fantastic job. And like those before me have said, our system, the jury system, is important. We need good people to serve on juries. We need good people to come and say a person is not guilty. Take that courage to do that. It's okay. We want you to serve on juries. This particular jury was a special jury. It was fantastic. It listened. It paid attention. It put the nonsense to the side. It put the distractions to the side and came to a lawfully good, just conclusion. Juries are important. Juries are important. But more important than that, I think, is people wanting to be on juries. So for all of you all listening, for all you out there in the public, please accept the call, become a juror, and do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It is such a privilege to be a part of this legal team, this amazing legal team, and to represent Sean Combs. And this is a reminder to everyone, I hope, about the flaws in the criminal justice system, and for everyone to take a second look when the government charges people with crimes, and especially when the Southern District of New York does here. And so I hope everyone takes that seriously. And we take this as an enormous victory and win. This is a huge win. He was acquitted of sex trafficking, acquitted of RICO conspiracy, and he will be able to sleep well at night knowing that. Okay, thank you to everyone. I appreciate you.
What did you think about the bail decision?
Jason.
Guys, can any of you share what Mr. Combs wanted to say?
Awesome. Get up there. Jason as well.
Well, I want to start just by thanking my family and the families of each of the lawyers here for giving us the space and the time to serve Sean and to fight for Sean. I want to thank the court for giving us a fair fight. And you see what happens when you have a good defense team come together in front of a court that gives the defense team a fair fight. And finally, I just want to thank Sean for giving me the honor and the privilege of serving him. Thank you.
I feel like there's not a lot more that I can say because of these wonderful people have really said all there is to say, but I do want to thank Sean for the privilege of this opportunity to help him clear his name. After all, with the Southern District coming after him, guns blazing, it really is a testament to the fact that when you get a fair trial and a jury of your peers listens to the evidence, they will do the right thing. And I just want to say again how proud I am to be part of this team and to have helped Sean get a just verdict.
Are you going to appeal the Manning conviction? Guys, can anyone share what Mr. Combs wanted to say in court when he raised his hand during the bail hearing? Does anyone know?
No.
Mr. Nicholas, can you talk about the bail decision and the judge using defense's own words during trial about violence?
I'm not going to talk about the bail decision because it's still a pending unresolved matter. And I don't think we're going to take any more questions. I want to thank you all. You guys have been so diligent and dedicated. I pass you guys in the rain. I walk by you in the sun, and you're all out here every day. And I just want to thank you. But I don't think we're going to take any questions.
Can you take us through the ups and downs of the day, though? Because Mr. Combs got acquittals on the major charges. Maybe thought he could go home tonight and then was told he couldn't.
So a lot of these things are still in process. I mean, the one thing I'm going to leave you with this. We are not nearly done fighting. We are just getting started. To win this and to defeat the prosecutors from the Southern District of New York takes effort from beginning to end. Today was a major, major step in the right direction, but we fight on and we're going to win, and we're not going to stop until he walks out of prison a free man to his family. Thank you all for coming.
There we go. We had Sean.
Any reaction on the verdict?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Free pops. Come on, man.
Diddy's free.
Switching it up, I fill you up like this drink in my cup. Also flashy tossing.
Appreciate all the love. Diddy's free. Let's go. Diddy's free.
With the verdict. Are you happy with the verdict, guys?
Pleased that he's finally been held responsible for 2 federal crimes, something that he's never faced in his life. Of course, we would have liked to have seen a conviction on the sex crimes in RICO, but we understand beyond a reasonable doubt is
guilty on federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges is not proof the justice system finally did right by black men. It's proof that power protects power even when it's wearing black skin. Let's be real. Diddy had a legal army. Lawyers who beat RICO cases, who make judges lean back in their chairs and rethink law. Meanwhile, the average black man in this country gets a public defender drowning in 200 other cases and is pushed into a plea deal before he even understands the charges. So no, this wasn't justice. It was class warfare in a courtroom suit. He walked on trafficking, walked on racketeering, but found guilty on 2 Mann Act charges for transporting women for prostitution. That ain't vindication. Sex trafficking, racketeering, the kind of charges they used to bury poor folks under the prison. But Diddy had elite lawyers, PR teams, jury consultants. He didn't walk because the facts saved him. He walked because capitalism gave him a sword and a shield. Don't let them feed you illusions of progress. Most poor black men would have taken a plea before jury selection even began. Don't have $10,000 for a pretrial expert? Too bad. Can't make bail? Sit your ass in county jail. Get hit with multiple charges? They stack them until you fold. This is how capitalism punishes poverty and protects wealth, no matter your skin color. This case is not about whether Diddy is innocent. It's about how justice is a product for sale with tiered pricing. And if you can't afford the deluxe package, you don't get due process. You get processed. This system does not defend the poor. It does not defend the working class. It does not even pretend to. Diddy just had enough money to rent temporary elite whiteness. If you're clapping for Diddy's acquittal, but silent when your neighbor's nephew gets 12 years in prison for some bullshit, you missed the point. Until every man, woman, and child can walk into a courtroom and actually have a fair fight, not just the rich, not just the famous, not just the ones with Grammys, then this system remains a plantation with marble walls. If our liberation is limited to celebrities, it's not liberation. Real justice means abolishing class justice. It means free, competent legal defense for everyone. It means dismantling a system where the wealthy can erase their crimes while the poor get erased for theirs. It means understanding that freedom is inseparable from class struggle. Justice doesn't need another celebrity acquittal. Justice needs abolition. It needs radical funding for public defense. It needs community courts. It needs to burn down the idea that justice only belongs to those who can afford it. Because if this is what justice looks like with $1 billion, imagine a nightmare for the rest of us.
I just can't stop thinking about the Diddy verdict. It makes me sick at my stomach. People wonder why more victims of SA don't come forward.
Frustrating about the Diddy trial is that I think they could have charged him with things that he actually would have been convicted of, that would have resulted in at least a more severe punishment than he's going to get under the current circumstances. Instead, they made it a show trial. They made it all about the celebrity and built up this story about his empire of drugs and sex and prostitutes and freak-off parties and all of this stuff. And they brought charges of racketeering and sex trafficking and just things that didn't necessarily fit the bill. And what the prosecutors found themselves with was a New York jury that took the job literally. They compared Diddy and his crimes against the crimes he was being charged with. I think they were banking on the jury being like, look, he's not a good guy. He's obviously committed crimes. And so we're going to convict him for all of these things that he's been charged with, regardless of what those charges actually are. We're just saying he's a criminal. And he is, without a doubt. But again, I think they could have approached it differently. I think they could have charged him with crimes that he committed. He would have been convicted on all of them. And then they could go for maximum time or maximum penalty for those crimes. But instead, they did the televised FBI raid of his compound. They built this story about how all of these celebrities were going to go down with him because of these freak-off parties. And yeah, he's not a good guy. He abused a lot of people. He committed a lot of crimes. But they didn't go after that stuff.
He's federally convicted and some of y'all are just illiterate. I mean, some of y'all are really on social media throwing up W's like Diddy just dodged the Matrix, walked out the courtroom clean and dropped the remix. Let me correct you with precision real quick. You know Diddy isn't free, right? He's a convicted felon now, found guilty on 2 counts of violating the Mann Act. That's interstate sex trafficking under a different name. Each charge carries up to 10 years. That's 20 max. Talking about free, he ain't free. That man waiting on sentencing. See, here's what he beat versus what beat him. He's not guilty on the racketeering conspiracy or the sex trafficking involving Cassie or Jane. However, the man is guilty on transporting Cassie and Jane for prostitution. And I don't know about some of y'all, that's not a W in my book. That's called splitting the losses. And y'all really celebrating like he got a Grammy. No, the man just got a record. Not the good kind. And some of y'all actually typed he's free. He beat the case. Free where? He literally begged the judge not to send him back to Brooklyn federal lockup. His lawyers are fighting for house arrest in Miami. That's not freedom, that's called damage control. I mean, you can't be this emotionally attached to another man's riches. You posting free Diddy like he got framed for reading the orphans or something. No, this man was flying women and men around for freak-offs. That ain't charity work. He was committing federal violations. And let me say it plain. If Diddy was a broke club promoter doing the exact same thing, a lot of y'all would be calling him a predator for that. But because it's a black man like Diddy, you want to call it a lifestyle? Y'all don't love justice. Y'all really love wealth and blackface. And I'm going to add this to it. You not woke if you only call it exploitation when the abuser isn't famous. You're not. You sleepwalking. And you can miss me with the race card too. Stop saying they're just trying to take down another powerful black man. Man, this ain't about power. This ain't about blackness either. This is about a man with money, control, and silence clauses finally facing consequences. And if race was the real issue, y'all would have been protecting the black women he abused, not the man who wrote the non-disclosure agreements. Free Diddy, that's not a movement, it's a cultural malfunction. You're not freeing a man, you're exposing your own idol addiction. Your inability to admit the man I celebrated turned out to be the very predator I thought we were fighting against. You're not deep, you're in denial. And he's not free, he's not cleared, he's not vindicated. He's guilty. Twice. Facing 20 years, waiting for sentencing. And the only thing that can truly free us right now is this culture's last excuse to try to defend him. Because this ain't a race issue, this wasn't a conspiracy, this wasn't even a cultural war. This is a grown man who's finally got told, you're not God. And y'all trying to make him into a martyr when he's the one who built the temple of manipulation himself. Instead of free Diddy, no, we need to free the culture from itself.
Best friend.
Hold that up for me and kind of explain why you're giving those out, what made you want to do that.
Honestly, the show this stuff is explanatory, right? So he's in here for doing this, right? But they're trying to make you think that he's in there for this. A freako is not a RICO. What you're doing in your own bedroom is not against the law, right? He's making porn tapes with his girlfriend, consenting porn tapes. Now, some people might call it, oh, that's immoral. Well, a lot of stuff that we do, you're not gonna like. I'm not gonna like some things that you do, but it's my personal business, right? So for example, I have a transgender child, right? My child is going from male to female. I'm a single dad raising my transgender, right? You got some people that will say, well, how can you, that's my child. My love don't have an expiration date.
Is Diddy supportive of your child too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why would he be? That's his niece.
He was just denied bail. After being found guilty on 2 counts, yes, the 2 lesser counts, Diddy's defense decided they were trying to throw a massive Hail Mary today. They asked the judge to send him home to his Miami mansion with $1 million cash bond, family co-signers, and no access to his grounded private jet. Like that was supposed to prove that he wouldn't vanish so fast. The judge, not impressed. He flat out said no. Why? Because Diddy has a years-long pattern of violence and continues to be a danger to others. That's not my opinion. That's from the bench. Let that sink in for a second. Meanwhile, rumor has it that the family had an entire 4th of July celebration party planned for his homecoming. Almost like this was some sort of like delayed vacation, not a criminal trial. And the worst part about all of this is that people are saying that because he wasn't convicted of the most serious charges that allegedly there were no victims. I'll tackle that in another video, but just so we're clear here, being acquitted does not mean innocent. It means that the prosecution failed to prove burden without reasonable doubt. Big difference, especially when you have a man who has this type of power, fame, and history. But for now, Diddy stays right where he is.
Right now. And the judge denied him bail.
And
and he could
listen.
He's not going to get life, and we know that was on the line.
Oh, and by the way, the government, they filed a letter. What's the government going to ask for? They're going to ask for 50 to 60 months or something like that. The sentencing guidelines, frankly, are 20 to 27. He was acquitted. The judge denied bail, but the judge specifically said, "Look, I have to because they're alleging it's a crime of violence." And the defense basically conceded the violence and said that this is a domestic violence case, except he's not being charged with domestic violence. He had a standard. The judge adhered to the standard. That doesn't mean that at sentencing, he's not going to...
You sound like you're thinking like 3-4 years.
No, I think if there's any justice, he'll get 21 months time served, something like that. Even if you were to get 36, he's eligible for all kinds of other stuff. He's not going to do much more time.
So you think he'll get out? You think he'll get out within a year?
Oh yeah, he should. I think he'll be out within a year, 18 months at the most. I think there's a distinct possibility that he gets sentenced to something akin.
Victory on many fronts. First of all, now that he won the racketeering charge, the government cannot come after his assets, right? His money is much safer. A racketeering charge allows the government to come after all his personal business, all his finances that he's coveted over these last several years, and really that he's used for his power in, unfortunately, these situations.
That's a little nugget I did not even realize. So the money is safe.
Money is safe.
What happens now, though? We talked about how Diddy is still behind bars. Credit for time served?
He'll get about 10 months credit for time served. His sentencing was originally scheduled for October. I don't know if people realize that. However, his attorneys filed an emergency motion asking that the sentencing be expedited. It'll be next week on July the 8th. Now, he's looking at a potential of, I believe, 10 years. He's not going to get 10 years.
Not going to get 10 years because there's no prior, or what's the deal?
No priors. The offense itself is not considered as serious as the other charges, obviously. He doesn't have as bad of a background. And frankly, that charge it's not really looked at as bad as the racketeering and the sex trafficking. He'll probably get, I'd say, 2 to 3 years. He'll get the 10 months credit. There'll be conditions of probation. If the judge gives him also probation in addition to the prison, he'll be out before you know it.
But he ain't walking out of there at that sentencing, is what you're saying.
He probably won't be walking out of there at that sentencing, but...
Y'all don't even get Diddy shit, do it? Y'all really don't get it. Let me tell y'all something why Diddy got found like he got found. Because first of all, see what happened with the prosecution is, let me ask you something. You didn't see no sex tapes, did you? All this other stuff that you really were looking for, you never got a chance to see it, right? Don't that shit sound like the Jeffrey Epstein shit? See, it's too many other important people. Like, this shit can't come out. See, you're focusing on entertainers, actors, and shit like that. Man, there's some politicians and shit involved in that shit. All over the world. And most definitely right here. And them folks like, hey, you have to run this trial without that. You'll get them on some more shit, but no, you can't show these videos. See, people don't get that part. That's the part people don't get. Y'all were lost in the sauce already. Once no shit came out about no videos, no list, a real list of who was at the parties, and who could really say what went on at the parties. Come on, I'm gonna tell y'all what they really put on trial. A prostitution ring. That's really what they put on trial. Because at the end of the day, whoever started this Fed case, they were like, yeah, we got something. Man, this shit went so far above his or her head. Them folks like, man, you ain't finna use none of this shit. Matter of fact, we do need it all from him, so he can't hold this shit over nobody's head. Next thing y'all gonna find out, I think both of them charges can hold up to 10 years. He gonna get 5 on each one, and he gonna die right there in the penitentiary. Same way Epstein did. See, they showed him, you ain't got no weight. You gonna stay in a boy's position. But the most important thing was, it's some people so much higher than him. Them folks said, we don't care what, we run the feds. Man, y'all ain't finna put this evidence, all this evidence on, but y'all are finna give it to us. So now we got it up under our control, just like they got the Jeffrey Epstein shit up under their control.
When the verdict was read, Combs got down on his knees and he began to pray. His children clapping, everyone overcome with emotion on his defense team. Even one of his attorneys, Teddy Garagos, started to cry.
If you feel that these victims didn't get justice because he was guilty of the domestic violence and all those things. But you know what they did? They swung for the fence and they went for a RICO.
Basically today, the jury decided that a FRICO is not a RICO.
How do you feel about the verdict today?
I'm very happy. I feel like justice was served. I've been to a few of his parties, and there's been nothing but generosity and positivity, and I've never seen anything negative ever.
I'm an independent journalist that had predicted this was going to be what happened. I said the RICO is weak.
Hopefully he do get some therapy. Hopefully he does get some help. Seek some help. Stay away from the D-rugs and the addiction. But my question is for the people that were complicit, that you think he was guilty, what about everybody that got supposed immunities and proper agreements and all that?
8 men on a jury we're going to do? 8 men and 4 women on that jury. Of course he was going to get a slap on the wrist. Of course he was going to get acquitted of all major counts. I hate to say it, this country hates women. It fucking hates women. Because rapists get elected to be president and senators and all these other things. And as long as you are a rich man in this country, you can get away fucking anything. And the people who are now in risk are those survivors who came forward. This dude bombs cars and kills people. And now he's got a target list of all those people who testified against him.
I know some of y'all don't care about celebrity news, and you have a right to feel that way, especially if you're not a celebrity. But everything that's happening with P. Diddy is for celebrity. That is celebrity news. That is not regular civilian news. When celebrities are in trouble, celebrities who are not in trouble are concerned. I repeat, when celebrities are in trouble, celebrities who are not in trouble are the only ones who should be concerned because they have power, which is money. Now, regular civilians, as fans, y'all can hope for the best or hope for the worst, all you want. But this P. Diddy thing is all about being a celebrity. Now, he's been found guilty on 2 counts out of 5, which is transportation to engage in prostitution. Yeah. And transportation to prostitution, that's 2 counts, which means they call that the Mann Act, which means men controls that. You know, men are the creators. Men are the leaders of prostitution. So they call that the Mann Act. Listen, this is what I want to say to y'all. This is not a victory for P. Diddy. This is not a victory for women. This is not a victory for civilians. This is a victory for other celebrities who engage in the same lifestyle as him. The only ones. Other celebrities know that if any of this, something like this, similar to this, comes up, they have an opportunity, they have a shot. Regular civilians don't. You have no money, you have no resources, you're done. Settle. Okay? But I want to say, transportation to engage in prostitution, isn't that S trafficking? Ain't that still S trafficking? Engaged in transportation of, transporting of prostitution, isn't that still S trafficking? It sounds like it to me. Transportation to engage in prostitution is still a S traffic charge, which is racketeering. Come on, what we doing here?
Okay, so when you get in trouble and you go to charge somebody with something, you charge them for a crime that they've committed, right? Okay, so I knew from Jump Street that P. Diddy was going to be found not guilty from the charges that he was charged with. Racketeering and sex trafficking, no, he's not guilty. I already knew this. I called this from Jump Street. So, what are we doing? What is the FBI really doing? I mean, you're going to raid people's houses, destroy their shit, find baby oil, all the things, and then you've got one video, which is a misdemeanor domestic violence assault in a state, which is a crime. You do an anger management program and stay away from that person and get a restraining order and go to jail for 3 days or some shit like that. But you get thrown in the federal penitentiary for what? I'm so confused. Why don't you guys look into the unaliving of Kim Porter, Whitney Houston, Brittany Murphy, Tupac, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, what are we doing here? This is insane. This is wasting people's tax dollars. It's wasting people's time, judges' time. What is really good? I'm going to need everyone to crank up their thinking skills, because what in the helly? I'm just a girl, and I could literally tell you right now from day one that P. Diddy was not going to be found guilty, because everyone was over 18 and everyone was engaged and they like to freak off. And it's not the FBI's business if they want to do freak offs. It's not illegal. It's not a crime. I'm just saying. So there's that. Anyways.
If you happy about the verdict of the Diddy trial, I'm judging you. I'm judging the fuck out of you. Oh, he beat the case. Oh, my boy beat the case. Y'all look dumb. Just because somebody didn't get charged with something they probably should have, just because justice was not served, doesn't make them a good person. If I unalive 10 people, but the government never finds out, am I still a good person? No! So all these celebrities and all these misogynistic men who are cheering and being like, yeah, that's what happens when you try to take down a black man, y'all look so silly and ignorant. We literally watched this man beat Cassie down to the ground. How can y'all find any room in your heart to be happy for him? It just don't make sense. Not only was this humiliation for Diddy, I am fully aware of that, but it also was a social experiment on the public. And y'all are falling for the shit. They wanted to see how dumb and gullible y'all are, how quickly y'all would forget about the shit that they just showed us a few months ago, and y'all falling for it.
You guys talking about the Diddy case. I already said this. It's a show trial. It's why I didn't cover it. It's so clearly a show trial. We didn't get Christina Karam. We didn't get Lucien Grange. We didn't get the Universal execs. If you read through Little Rod's lawsuits, Diddy was not at the top of the ring, okay? And it sounded like it was a Fed operation. And so it was a show trial because the Feds are never going to reveal the Feds that are in control of an operation. And the minute that they did not bring Christina Karam, the involvement that this woman have, apparently it's like having a Jeffrey Epstein trial and not like a public Jeffrey Epstein trial and not mentioning or bringing up Ghislaine Maxwell. Like, that's how you know it was a show trial. So this whole fake, oh my God, I can't believe he got away with it. Of course he got away with it. This was a Fed operation. That is my viewpoint. I am never going to change it. I think he's the Jeffrey Epstein of the hip hop world. He was doing what he was supposed to do and what he was told to do. And we're never going to get any information because now everyone's gotten their show trial and there are people on the streets that are pouring baby oil on top of themselves. I'm not kidding. His fans and supporters, as a show of support. It's disgusting. I'm laughing at just the state of humanity today. And I'm maybe asking for a reset. We just need to reset on humanity, just kind of, back to the factory settings here, because women are in the streets throwing baby oil on themselves, excited that he is found not guilty on the bigger charges, on the two biggest charges. And so he's kneeling and yay. It's just, that's what a show trial is. It's meant to make everybody feel like justice has been served, or at least justice was attempted to be served. We did the right thing. We got a jury of his peers and they came back and decided he wasn't guilty. And then the feds keep doing what the feds do. I still believe that it is a drug operation. I believe that guy who was one of Diddy's sex slaves who said that that's what it was, that these rappers are given money. The feds are giving it to them. They're giving these planes. They move drugs and they collect blackmail. So I'm not interested in show trials. I'm not interested in pretending that this was a real trial. That's my final point on that.